Welcome to the Lesley University Library Instruction Video Series. This video is a brief introduction to the Oxford English Dictionary, commonly known as the OED. In this tutorial, you will learn what the OED is and why you would use it, how to find the online edition of the OED on My Lesley, how to search for words in the OED, how to make sense of the information you find, and how to cite information from the OED. This tutorial will take about 10 minutes. The Oxford English Dictionary is the most comprehensive dictionary of the English language. It's an historical dictionary. It traces the development of individual English words from the earliest records down through the present. Each word entry illustrates how the meaning and use of a word changes over time. It does this through quotations taken from actual manuscripts, books, and other print materials. The dictionary includes words that are no longer in current use, which makes it particularly helpful for finding the meaning of words you might encounter in older texts. The print edition of the OED consists of 20 volumes, and you have access to the full content of all of these volumes in the online edition. The online edition is also updated 4 times a year, so it covers the most recent changes to the English language. It covers more than 600,000 words. The OED is a subscription resource available through the Lesley Library. It is not freely available on the web. To find the OED online, log into My Lesley and go to the My Library tab. Under Finding Articles, click on Databases by Name. This is the alphabetical list of the Lesley Library's online reference resources and article databases. Now scroll down to the Oxford English Dictionary Online and click. Here we are on the OED's basic search screen. There is also an advanced search, and you can browse the dictionary in a variety of ways, but in this tutorial we'll be focusing on using the quick search. Before we get started with our search, I just wanted to point out a couple of links on the home page that might be helpful to you. One is the abbreviations used in the OED, and the other is key to symbols and other conventions. What I would recommend is just opening each of these in another tab or window so that you'll have them handy in case you encounter any unfamiliar abbreviations or symbols. So now that we have those tabs open, we're going to scroll up and do a search for a word. So let's say you're interested in the history of the word text. So our search for the word text got 3 results. It means there are 3 main entries in the dictionary for the word text. Let's take a closer look at the results. You'll see that each numbered result begins with the head word in red, followed by an abbreviation that tells you what part of speech it is, that is, how it functions in a sentence. You can see that we have here 2 entries for the word text as a noun and 1 for text as a verb. Below each head word, you'll see a short excerpt from the first definition for that entry, and to the right is the earliest known use of the word in that sense. To find out more about a word, simply roll over the entry until it's highlighted and click. We're now looking at the first entry for text as a noun. Here's the head word at the top. Following the head word is the pronunciation given in the symbols of the International Phonetic Alphabet. You can click on the pronunciation and see an explanation for how to sound out these symbols. Below the pronunciation, you'll see the forms. Forms will include any variant spellings or irregular forms of the word, as well as the time period when these variations appeared. For example, the first 2 variations here are labeled with ME for Middle English. And here you'll see ME through 15. These are variations found in Middle English through the 1500s. By the way, this is where the key to the symbols might come in handy. If you're unsure of what ME means or 15 means, you can consult that link. Following the forms, you'll see the etymology. The etymology shows the origin and derivation of the word, that is, when did the word enter the English language and how. We're going to click on Show More to see the full etymology for the word text. You can see here that the word text comes into English from the French texte and its Old Northern French variations from the 12th century, meaning the scriptures. The angle bracket symbol here indicates from. As you read through the etymology, you're tracing the word back through its earlier roots. So if we follow the etymology to the end, we learn that the word text ultimately came from the Latin word meaning that which is woven, or texture, from the Latin verb meaning to weave. After the etymology comes a list of all the different senses of the head word. And many of these senses include subsenses, so labeled A, B, C, and so on. Together, they illustrate all the distinct meanings the word has developed over time and the different ways in which the word has been used. So each sense consists of a definition and a selection of supporting quotations. The quotations are hidden when you're viewing it in outline form, but we can simply click on Show Quotations to see the quotations for that particular sense, or we can click on Full Entry to see all of the quotations for all of the various senses of the word. These quotations illustrate and document how the word has been used in written sources through the ages. Let's take a closer look at the definition and quotations for sense 1A. First, we have the definition, the wording of anything written or printed, etc. Let's take a look at the first quotation. The quotation has a date of circa 1400, followed by another earlier date in parentheses, circa 1390, with a question mark in front of it. This means that the quote comes from a manuscript dated around 1400, but that the original work was probably written around 1390. If you mouse over the date in parentheses, you'll get a description that explains this, as well as a link to more information about the dating of Middle English sources in the OED. Following the title of the work is another much more recent date in parentheses. This shows that the edition of the book that the quote is taken from was published in 1940. Taking a look now at the title of the source, you'll see that it appears in blue. You can click on it to get more information about the manuscript or more publication information. Right before the quotation itself, we have information about where the quotation can be found in the source, in this case, line 1515. There's no author for Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, but if we take a look at some of the later quotations, you can see that the author's names appear in all caps. I also want to point out a symbol that you'll encounter in front of some definitions, the dagger symbol. This symbol indicates a usage that is now obsolete. After the main part of the dictionary entry, after all the various meanings and supporting quotations for the noun text, you'll see a list of compounds. These are compounds beginning with the word text. These compounds are also illustrated with dated quotations to document how they've been used. Finally, following the compounds, there are draft editions. These reflect newer meanings or forms of the word that have been added to the dictionary since its last full revision in 1989. Like the main entries, the draft editions include a definition and supporting quotations. For example, you can see that in 1993, the use of the text as a short form of textbook was added to the dictionary. If we scroll down further, we'll see that the use of text to mean text message was added in 2006. And if you look at the quotations, you can see that the first documented use of the word in this way was in 1990. If you're curious when the word text message entered the language, just follow that link. This entry dates the first use of text message to 1977. Now let's go back to the results page for our search for the word text. We're all familiar with the current use of the word text as a verb. To text someone is to send someone a text message. But did you know that text was used as a verb as early as the 16th century? Here we have the entry for text as a verb. If we click on that entry, you'll see that text was used as a verb as early as 1599 to mean to inscribe, write, or print in text hand or in capital or large letters. And even earlier to mean to cite a text at or against a person. And if you look at the draft editions, you'll see information about the current use of the verb to text to mean to send a text message. And here, the first instance of that use is dated to 1998 with a quote. Now that you know how to find a word in the OED and understand the information provided about a word, what if you want to cite information from an entry in the OED? All you need to do is click on Cite in the top right-hand corner, and now you can choose a citation format, either MLA or Chicago style, and the citation will be formatted for you. Note that it doesn't double-space or indent your citation, so you need to do that yourself if you copy and paste it into your reference list. You can also choose to export your citation to one of several citation managers, including EndNote, which is available to you through the My Library page of My Leslie. Thank you for watching this video. For more instruction videos, please see the Leslie Library YouTube page. And always remember, ask a librarian.